Okay, if you've ever found yourself stuck in that awful loop of setting goals and then just not meeting them, you probably think the problem is about productivity, right? Or maybe discipline. But what if I told you it's not about that at all? In this explainer, we're going to flip that whole idea on its head. For chronic procrastinators, the real problem isn't about managing your time. It's about a broken relationship with yourself.
This quote, man, it just hits you right where it hurts, doesn't it? Because that's the real deal. Every time we make a promise to ourselves, we're going to finish that project, we're going to hit the gym, we're going to clean the kitchen, and then we don't. It's like a tiny crack forms in our self-trust. It's this quiet, slow erosion of our belief that we'll actually do the things we say we're going to do.
And look, this feeling goes way deeper than just self-doubt. For a lot of us, it's actually a kind of trauma response. When your own brain or your own body starts to feel unpredictable, it does what it thinks is best. It tries to protect you from more disappointment. It starts whispering, hey, let's not even make a plan. You know you're just going to flake. You start to see yourself as unreliable, without realizing it's just a defense mechanism kicking in.
So if it's not some deep character flaw, what is going on here? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. We're about to dive into the neuroscience of why procrastination has nothing to do with being lazy and everything to do with a habit your brain learned to keep you safe from bad feelings. And this isn't an excuse, not at all. It's an explanation. And once you have that, you have the power to change it.
First things first, we have to get this straight. Laziness and procrastination are not the same thing. Not even close. Laziness is just indifference. You don't care about the task, so you don't do it. Simple. But procrastination, oh, that's an active, exhausting, full-on inner battle. You desperately want to do the thing, and the fact that you feel completely stuck is what creates all that shame and anxiety.
And here's the absolute core of it. Your brain isn't trying to manage your schedule. It's trying to manage a feeling. When a task makes you feel anxious or bored or afraid you might fail, your brain's #1 job becomes mood repair. It just wants to feel better right now. And you know what the fastest way to do that is? Avoid the thing that's making you feel bad.
It all happens in this super simple but crazy powerful 3-step loop. First, there's the trigger, that pit in your stomach you get when you think about the task. Second, the behavior. You immediately pivot to something else, scrolling Instagram, checking emails, whatever. And third, the result. A little hit of relief. That relief feels like a reward, and it teaches your brain, hey, that avoidance thing, it works. And boom, a habit is born.
But what happens when that avoidance behavior actually looks productive? This is where things get really, really sneaky. We're about to talk about the most insidious form of procrastination because it disguises itself as work. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
It's called productive procrastination. You know what this is. It's when you suddenly decide you absolutely must organize your entire bookshelf by color right when you're supposed to be starting that huge report. You're busy, you're checking things off a list, you're getting little hits of accomplishment. And that's exactly what makes this habit so dangerously sticky.
So here's why it's so much more powerful. When you're passively procrastinating, just watching Netflix, the guilt signal is immediate and loud. But with productive procrastination, the guilt is delayed, or maybe it doesn't show up at all. And even better, from your brain's perspective, you get a dual reward. You get the relief from avoiding the scary task, plus you get the little dopamine hit of satisfaction from finishing the easy tasks. It's a much stronger feedback loop, which makes it way harder to break.
This metaphor is just perfect. It comes from a patient of neuroscientist Dr. Judd Brewer. You feel like a gambler, going deeper and deeper into debt with this one big task. And your solution? Keep making small bets on other things. Keep doing the busy work, because at least it feels like you're playing the game. Meanwhile, that real debt, the important project, is just getting bigger and bigger.
Okay, so we've established that trying to just power through is basically pointless. You can't just yell at a habit and expect it to disappear, right? Willpower will fail you because this isn't a willpower problem. It's an emotional habit loop. So what on earth are we supposed to do?
The answer is completely counterintuitive. We're not going to try to tackle that big, scary thing head on. No, we are going to shift our focus entirely to a much smaller but infinitely more important goal, proving to ourselves that we can be trusted.
Seriously, the real work here has nothing to do with productivity hacks. It's about healing. It's about sending tiny, consistent signals to your nervous system that you are reliable. Every single time you keep a tiny promise to yourself, you're laying another brick in the foundation of self-trust. You're teaching your brain, hey, I am someone who does what they say they will do.
And we do this by making our goals stupidly small. This is key. You shrink the action down until it is so laughably easy, so non-threatening that your brain's internal threat detector doesn't even notice. The goal is no longer write the whole report. No way. The new goal is open the document and write one single sentence. That's it. You're sneaking past the anxiety trigger.
To really get on board with this, we need some new metaphors. So forget being a sprinter. From now on, you are the ferocious turtle. Slow, maybe, but steady, wise, and absolutely unstoppable. And think about a ladder. The destination at the top is the same, but now the rungs are just inches apart. You don't need smaller ambitions. You just need smaller, more manageable steps to get there.
All right, so how do we put this into practice? Let's get into a few practical, compassionate tools that are specifically designed to work with your brain's emotional wiring instead of fighting against it.
Dr. Judd Brewer has this brilliant 3-step process. First, you just map it. Notice the habit loop as it happens. The trigger, the behavior, the result, with zero judgment. Just observe. Second, get curious. Really ask yourself, what am I actually getting from this avoidance? Is this temporary relief really worth the stress it causes later? And third, find a bigger, better offer. Find something that feels more rewarding than avoidance. And you know what is? The quiet satisfaction of taking one stupidly small step.
We can also take the classic SMART goals and give them a much-needed, compassionate upgrade. The big shifts here are attainable and time-flexible. Attainable doesn't mean what you could do on your best day. It means what's possible for the energy and focus you have today. And forget rigid deadlines. Use flexible time windows. This turns goal setting from a weapon you beat yourself up with into a tool that actually supports you.
And underneath all of this is self-compassion. And this is not some fluffy, nice-to-have idea. This is a neurological strategy. The research is clear. Beating yourself up, that whole "why can't I just do it" internal screaming match, it literally feeds the anxiety that triggers the avoidance loop. Self-compassion does the exact opposite. It creates a sense of psychological safety, which lowers the anxiety and makes it possible to take that first step. And this brings us to what might be the most powerful reframe of all. Get this, you can't fail at this. You can only learn. Shift your mindset from success or failure to accomplishment or learning. If you meet your tiny goal, great, that's an accomplishment. If you don't, you just got some really valuable data about what got in your way. Either way, you win. There is no failure. There is only data.
So I'll leave you with this question. Forget the huge life overhaul. Forget the massive project. What is one tiny, ridiculously doable promise you can make and keep to yourself in the next 24 hours? Maybe it's just drinking one glass of water, or stretching for 60 seconds, or just opening that one email without responding. Because that one small act of integrity with yourself, that is where this entire journey begins.